a snake, and snake is sneak spelled sideways.
Yo, Joe! Taking a look at another G.I. Joe classified figure today. This one is courtesy of good brother Micah. Thanks so much for sending this along, Micah. He is currently available on Big Bad Toy Store, either by himself or in a 2-pack with Lady J. I'll leave the links down in the video description. And this is one that I have really been admiring from afar. I think we can say we're finally out of the growing pains stage of G.I. Joe classified. Those first few for myself, and I've seen from other longtime G.I. Joe fans, some puzzling decisions, a couple of throwbacks to the old designs, but they looked a lot more modernized. This is Flint. This is 100% Flint, and I'll have more of a comparison once I get him out of the box. But for the first time I saw the pictures, I went, yeah, they got him perfectly right. And what's happening now with the classified figures, to me it feels like it's like the 2000X He-Man figures. They're taking the original designs, which, I mean, the original Joes had a lot more detail on them than the original Masters of the Universe figures, which were quite a bit bigger. But they're taking the old details and then adding extra details like they did with the Four Horsemen did with the 2000X figures. So we're just getting more detail, more stuff on them, more accessories, both removable as well as non-removable sculpted on details. Just a more kind of real life look, almost like this was a 12-inch figure shrunk down to 6-inch. We got some really nice artwork on the front here of good old Dashiell Fairborn, and on the back got that medley we've seen a couple of times before. Some more artwork on the side here. They decided to give Flint a scar, and I don't need to say Flint was one of my favorite Joes when I was a kid. I think he was most people's one of their favorite Joes back then. And let's take a look at a couple of the accessories. First of all, we got to start with the beret. And he's standing. That's awesome. I love when you don't have to futz too much to get him to stand. And this is just great, nice, tight ankle joints to get him to stand. Here's his beret with the red patch on it. It's kind of a, I'm guessing, yep, floppy material to fit on his head, nice and snugly. Perfect. Hey, that's a tough thing to do, especially at this scale, to be able to put on some kind of hat that doesn't look oversized. Sideshow's Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones, is guilty of this, and he even has a piece of hair that comes off in order to let the fedora fit on, and the fedora still looks too big on him. This was a smart call. I don't know if it's the undercut that's making this work. I just noticed now he's got an undercut. But the haircut looks great without. Sometimes when you take a hat off, a head can look undersized without the hat. But without and with looks fantastic. The beret doesn't look oversized when it's on there, and it's just so Flint with the beret. A couple of other details on him. He does have these sort of shin guards on there. Gone are the old kind of Vietnam boots. And that's actually kind of surprising because the rest of him is pretty true to the original design. He's even got the leg holster that the original one had. So that's interesting that they decided to ditch those old jungle style. Or is it paratrooper style? I don't know. I'm not an expert on all of this clothing or accessories. He does have a watch. And I don't know if it's removable. It might be molded on there. But nice to have a watch on there on the same arm as the original one. Brown gloves on the original, brown on the new one. Knee pads. The original one didn't have knee pads. And the camo is a different color as well. He's got a pistol, which can fit into the holster, and I'm guessing by this point they've sorted out any of those issues that Snake Eyes had, where the gun wasn't fitting properly. It's kind of getting caught on something. Yep, there it goes. Perfect. perfect. You can actually see the bottom of it down there. Nice. Hey, there's some movement here. There's some give actually, which is great. So if you want the hand to be grabbing the handle as if he's drawing it, that helps a little bit. Being able to move it down or move it up to where whatever position looks best. Sometimes you're just stuck with where it is because it's actually molded right into the leg. Some more of the details on the belt. Flint's got this double belt right here, the original one. I'm so glad that they've carried that over as well. It's very John Wayne. And you got to have shotgun shells. I believe those might be shells. Definitely shotgun shells on his vest and a couple of grenades on the belt. And this is so awesome. He's got a spot to stick the shotgun. Pop it in there. I'm guessing it can go whichever way you want it. It can sort of go that way. But this is probably, I don't know, maybe this way? It's an awkward placement. It's not like, like that, like Ash from Evil Dead has, where the character just reaches back and draws it off his back. I'm guessing this is one way you could do it. Have it in the back like that and just have him pull it out and then it flips around. So like all classified weapons, it's got the actual trigger hole in it, so you can feed it in there. Pop the finger in there. Look at that, he's even got shells on there as well. And I do recall this thing opens up. We're seeing some pictures. There you go. I remember some people saying it's not supposed to crack open if it's got, I don't know. I'm not a gun expert, I never have been, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I enjoy stuff like this a lot more than some people who have an intimate knowledge of this. I just don't worry about it too much. And his articulation is great, so he can actually hold on to the shotgun with two hands with lots of range of motion. So sometimes on these figures, I'm thinking of like Masters of the Universe Classics or some of the new Super 7 Ultimates, they can just barely get their hands together to double hold a weapon. But the classified figures, you can do it like that. It's kind of a relaxed hold, and there's a little bit more range. You can push it out a little further forward. You can, I don't know how close you would want to hold a shotgun to your face. They got quite a kick, but I like that there's a little bit of range. There's such great articulation here. You can even hold it low. You can even push it forward so that it's not shooting out to the side. This is what I love about G.I. Joe Classified. There's just so much range and possibility for posing. And then if you don't even want him to hold the gun by the handle and the trigger, you can just hold it like that. Take a look at a few more of the details on here. Oh, and this is not a real shotgun. Like all of the classified weapons, they're going with more of a sci-fi look to them. Nerf guns, I guess some of them have been. Some sort of tech on his shoulder there. It's pretty simple actually, and I think this is a great example of less is more. When you are done going through them, looking at all the details, critiquing, that's it, and that's all you need. The best figures from the original line weren't all that complicated, and I think that's one of the reasons this figure works so well. So I've gone through the articulation before with some of the other classified reviews, but what I want to point out is how good the head articulation is. Not just left, right, up, down, but this tilt, which is so Flint. The swagger of Flint, of Mr. Fairborn. That's the the extra little bit of articulation that really brings these classified figures to life. It's not just about the size, it's about the posability, and this is what I have the most fun with when I'm futzing around with these G.I. Joe classified figures. Just these subtle, tiny little changes that you can do. Taking from my standing pose, just docile, to a bit of an action pose where he's attacking some cobras, or you can get really, really dynamic. Here we go, when you're actually trying to bend this leg forward, it's hitting this pouch, but you can move it out of the way. That's great. Oh, now something else is hitting. There we go. That solves it. It looks weird that way though, having the pouch right across there, but you can pretty much give him that Shawn Michaels double bicep leg pose that he used to do. Really sink into it. It's not really a pose Flint would do, but the joints are stiff enough that you can give him quite a bit of bend in the legs as well as the arms, and he won't fall over. He's still pretty sturdy even in a pose like that, and the legs have this great double knee bend. It's awesome. I don't think you can get him in a running stance without a stand. Does it have a hole for a stand like most of these do? And Joe's in a running stance look awesome, but I don't think I'll be able to balance him in a running pose. But, you know, just standing there, even if he's just got a hand up to his beret, this figure just has the swagger and the bravado of Flint, thanks to the smirk and just the character that we know and love. I remember it always being a pain to be able to get the original one to do that, to double hand the shotgun, so that is very satisfying, being able to do this, double hand a shotgun with Flint. And as far as value goes, classified figures aren't exactly cheap, but this one's cheaper than that one. If you are to find a complete Flint on eBay right now in pretty decent condition, he is one of the more expensive G.I. Joes. He's gone up in value quite a bit, just like 85 Snake Eyes and the original Storm Shadow. So in terms of value, this one is quite a bit less. You get quite a bit more if you're not an all-out hardcore collector and maybe you just want Flint. If you just want one G.I. Joe classified figure and it's not Snake Eyes, then honestly I think this is the other must-have if you're a huge G.I. Joe fan and you're thinking, oh, I'm only going to pick up one of these. I don't want to fill up a whole wall of classified. They've done an amazing job on this one. So much so that I'm inspired to take this guy outside and take some outdoor photography with him. Because even though he's a modern toy, he really does capture the feel of the original toys, and I can't help but think I would have had so much fun with this guy back in the day. And I think that's a successful modern toy, when you look at it and you go, oh man, if only 35 years ago, the adventures that would have been had. So thanks for checking out this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And thank you to the Patreon tribe for supporting the channel. Thanks to the channel members. Feel free to share, and to join the tribe, hit subscribe and tap the bell for intel on when new videos drop. Yo, Joe!